Then crochet the back motifs. Here, the outermost round of the motif needs to be worked and joined as you go. The first motif only needs to join to 2 back piece. The remaining motifs need to join to the adjacent motif, as well as the 2 back pieces. The motif starts with a magic ring. Crochet in rounds counterclockwise. The new stitch technique used is slip stitch. Please watch me demonstrate. First, crochet and join the first motif. Pick up the corresponding color yarn. Start with a magic ring first. Pick up the yarn with your right hand. Wrap it twice around your left index finger. There are now 3 strands of yarn on the index finger. Use your right thumb and index finger. Pinch where the loops overlap. Take it out. Then hang the loop on your left hand. Transfer the loop between the left thumb and middle finger. Pick up the hook with your right hand. Insert it into the loop. Yarn over and draw the yarn through. Continue with 1 chain to secure. Pull slightly tight. The magic ring is now complete. Start crocheting R1. Begin with 3 chains as the beginning chain. Mark the stitch. Then crochet 2 chains as a spacer. Continue the sequence with 1 double crochet and 2 chains. Repeat this a total of 7 times. After completing, close the ring. There will be 2 loops in total. Gently pull the starting tail first. You'll see 1 loop that can move. Tighten the movable loop. Pull outward from the side with the yarn tail. 1 loop will remain. Tighten the starting tail. This way, the loop is secured. Lastly, work 1 slip stitch at the stitch marker position. Insert. Yarn over and draw through. Pull through all loops on the hook. Finish with the slip stitch. The slip stitch doesn't count as 1 stitch. It needs to be tightened. R1 is complete. For the next round, you need to change colors. Fasten off. Hide the starting tail to the wrong side. You can weave in a few more stitches if needed. Move on to crochet R2. Join a new yarn in any chain space from the previous round. Start with 3 chains as the beginning chain. Mark the stitch. Insert into the next chain space, and work 3 double crochets. As you go, pay attention to weaving in the ends. Include the beginning chain. This is equivalent to crocheting 4 stitches. Work 3 chains as a spacer. Then pick up the next chain space. Crochet 4 double crochets. Chain 3 for spacing. For the rest, crochet 4 double crochets into each chain space. Between every 4 stitches, chain 3 as a spacer. Finish with the last 3 chains. Slip stitch into the beginning chain. Pull tight as usual. For the next round, you need to change colors. Fasten off. Hide the yarn tail on the wrong side of the piece. At this point, R2 is complete. Now move on to R3. This round requires crocheting and joining as you go. Start by joining the yarn in any chain space from the previous round. Make 3 chains. Mark it. Then chain 3 as a spacer. Work 1 double crochet in the same chain space. You will continue to work and join simultaneously later. Chain 2. Then pick up one of the back pieces. Locate the edge space from the first joining. Join with a slip stitch. The slip stitch here does not need to be tightened. The chart shows an oval point. Continue crocheting 2 chains. Return to the motif. Pick up and work 1 double crochet in the same chain space. Continue afterward, chain 1. Then, pick up the double crochet next to the next space of the back piece. And crochet a slip stitch to join. Similarly, The slip stitch here does not need to be tightened when there are no special instructions later. Keep the slip stitches loose. Continue crocheting 1 chain. Return to the motif. Work 1 double crochet into the same chain space. Crochet 3 chains as a spacer. Then pick up the next chain space on the motif. Work 1 single crochet. Here, you need to join with a slip stitch while crocheting. First, work an incomplete single crochet. Next, pick up the second chain space below on the back piece. Yarn over and draw the yarn through. Draw through all loops on the hook. Complete the single crochet and slip stitch join. Here, you're essentially combining the slip stitch join with the single crochet as one step. Continue crocheting 3 chains. Then pick up the next chain space. Work 1 double crochet. 1 chain. Next, locate the back piece. Find the second double crochet below. Pick up the stitch and join with a slip stitch. After completing, continue with 1 chain. Go back to the motif and pick up the same space, then work 1 double crochet. Crochet 2 chains afterward. Then find the second space below on the back piece. Join with a slip stitch. After completing, continue with 2 chains. Go back to the motif. Pick up the same position and work 1 double crochet. At this point, the joining between the motif and the back piece is complete. For convenience in explaining, here, I consider the position with 2 chains on both the left and right as a corner. In between is one side. Here, the motif joins 2 corners and one side. Meanwhile, on the back piece, one motif occupies 7 spaces. Continue crocheting the motif to complete it. Then continue crocheting the next side. No joining is needed here. Simply crochet 3 chains. Work 1 double crochet in the same position. 3 chains. Then pick up the next chain space. Crochet 1 single crochet. 3 chains. Then pick up the next space and work 1 double crochet. 3 chains and 1 double crochet. This completes this side. Moving down, it's the next corner position. Here you need to join with another back piece. Start with 2 chains. Then find the other back piece. Count 7 spaces inward from the edge. Work a slip stitch in the corresponding space to join. Then continue with 2 chains. This completes the corner joining. Next, join the side. Start by working 1 double crochet in the same space. One chain. Then find the second double crochet on the top of the back piece. Pick up the stitch and join with a slip stitch. Then work 1 chain. Go back to the motif and work 1 double crochet in the same space. Work 3 chains. Then pick up the next space. Combine a single crochet and a slip stitch. This completes the joining at the same time. Start with an incomplete single crochet. Then find the second space on the top of the back piece. Yarn over and draw the yarn through. And draw through once all the loops on the hook. Complete the single crochet and slip stitch. This completes the joining at the same time. Continue with 3 chains. Then pick the next chain space. Work 1 double crochet. 1 chain. Then find the second double crochet on the top of the back piece. Work 1 slip stitch. Chain 1. Work 1 double crochet in the same space. This completes the joining of this side. Next, join the corner. Start with 2 chains. Pick up the second space on the top of the back piece. That is, the edge space. Join with a slip stitch. Then chain 2. This completes the joining of the corner. No joining is needed for the remaining side. Continue to pick spaces and work 1 double crochet. 3 chains and 1 double crochet. After completing, crochet 3 chains. Pick up the next space and work 1 single crochet. Continue with 3 chains. Then you reach the beginning chain. Work a slip stitch at the stitch marker. Tighten. When you see a slip stitch marked as a round dot, it means to tighten after finishing. When you encounter an oval-shaped dot, it means no tightening is needed after finishing. At this point, R3 of this motif is completed. And this motif is joined to 2 back pieces together. On both sides of the motif, there are 7 corresponding spaces from the back piece. And all joinings follow a specific pattern. There are a total of 5 joinings for 2 corners and 1 side. The first joining, the third, and the fifth are made in the spaces. The second and fourth joinings are made on the double crochets. For each joining, there is an interval of 1 double crochet and 1 space. Finally, cut the yarn and weave in the ends. The joining for the first motif is now complete. Next, we will crochet and join the second motif. First, refer to the previous steps and the chart. Complete the first 2 rounds of crocheting. Here, I have already finished them. Continue with crocheting R3. This round also has 4 corners and 4 sides. On one side, there are 2 corners and a side. Join to one of the back pieces. 2 corners and 1 side on one side join to another back piece. There is also 1 side that needs to join to the first motif. Below, I will demonstrate the motif joining. The stitch techniques for joining have all been explained in detail earlier, and the methods are all the same, so I won't go into specifics here. Meanwhile, the joining points are marked on the chart. Start by joining the yarn in any chain space on the motif. Then make 3 beginning chains. If you can skillfully find the third chain from the beginning chain, you don't need to make a marker. Then work 3 chains and 1 double crochet. Next, join one corner. Here we join it to the right side of the back piece. Find the position that is 7 spaces away from the joining position of the previous motif. Join there. After completing, crochet and join the side. After completing, join the next corner. Then join one side to the top motif. The stitch technique here is the same. For the first joining, insert into the corresponding space on the top. The second joining is made at the single crochet. Pick up the single crochet stitch from the top motif. Continue crocheting. For the third joining, pick up the corresponding chain space on the top motif. By now, you've finished joining this side at the top. And you've also completed the joining between the two motifs. Continue to join 2 corners and one side of the back piece. Join the first corner to the space adjacent to the joining position of the previous motif. Follow the pattern to continue joining the side. After completing, join the next corner. No further joinings are needed for the remaining part. Complete this side. Finally, join with a slip stitch at the corresponding beginning chain. Pull tight. Cut the yarn. Hide the yarn tail inside the piece. That's it, the second motif is now joined. For the remaining motifs, join them using the same method as for the second motif. Keep going until you've joined the corresponding number of motifs. The final joining point for the back piece is at the corner's chain space. Pay attention to the joining position so you don't make a mistake. You can use a stitch marker to mark the joining area of each motif first, then proceed with the corresponding joinings. That concludes the explanation for the back motifs. Next, we'll work on the hem. There are differences between the long version and the short version. The crochet method is identical, it's just the row count that differs. Both use a foundation chain to start, then you crochet back and forth in rows of mesh. H1 follows a similar method to H1 of the front piece. However, there's no need to increase the mesh here, just crochet correspondingly. For the remaining rows, pick the mesh from H1. Crochet each stitch correspondingly. Pay attention to color changes while crocheting. Also, be mindful of the direction at the joining position. After crocheting, the piece features an alternating texture with one row on the right side, and the next row on the wrong side. Everyone, refer to the chart. Complete the corresponding number of rows. Once the hem is done, fasten off the yarn and weave in the ends. That concludes the explanation of the hem. Next, we'll discuss the waist motifs. The method is the same as for the back motifs. On R3, work and join simultaneously. Here, you need to join it to the side where the first edging was worked for the front and back pieces. It also needs to be joined to the foundation chain of the hem. Additionally, the second motif and the remaining motifs need to be joined to the adjacent motif. Here, I'll demonstrate the joining of the first motif first. Here, I'm demonstrating with a small swatch. Start by joining the yarn on the motif, then crochet up to the position before the corner. Next, here I need to join it to the foundation chain of the hem. Pay attention to ensure that the right side of H1 of the hem is facing up. Then locate the edge mesh and perform the joining. After completing this, continue joining the next side. Here, during the first joining, at the corresponding insertion point of the double crochet, pick up the remaining half of the chain. Continue crocheting. For the second joining, insert into the second mesh from the left on the corresponding side. For the third joining, go to the second double crochet on the corresponding left side. Pick up its insertion point and join there. Then join the next corner. Join at the second chain space from the left. After completing this, the next side does not need a joining, just crochet accordingly. The remaining 2 corners and one side need to be joined to the side where the first joining was made on both the front and back pieces. Start from the 7th space counting inward from the edge. Follow the previous method to complete the joining. After completing, complete the starting side. Finally, join with a slip stitch on the beginning chain. Pull tight. Cut the yarn. The first motif is now joined. One motif on the hem side has taken up 7 chain spaces. For the remaining motifs, continue joining using the previous method. When you reach the back motifs, just join them correspondingly. The corners of 2 of the motifs will be joined to the positions of the centered single crochets respectively, That is, this position will be joined twice. You can also pick up the chain space next to the single crochet, and join them separately. The following joining method is exactly the same as before. Refer to the chart. Combine it with the previous demonstration. Complete joining the waist motifs. Now the main body has been fully explained. Next, we'll make the sleeves. There are 2 sleeves in total. The method is the same for both. They are divided into the sleeve body, the motifs, and the cuff. First, crochet the sleeve body along the armpit position. After completing it, crochet and join the motifs. Finally, pick up one side of the motifs to crochet the cuff. Let's start with the sleeve body. For the sleeve body, you need to decrease stitches and use the method of crocheting back and forth in rounds. No new stitches are used here. Watch me demonstrate. I'll use this sample to show you. First, find the joining point under the arm. Pick up 2 strands on the edge single crochet for joining the yarn. Start with 3 chains as the beginning chain. Skip the joined mesh below. Pick up the double crochet on the left side of the next mesh. Work 1 double crochet. Then continue picking the double crochets to crochet the mesh. That is, alternate between 1 double crochet and 2 chains. When you reach the shoulder joining point, pick up the 2 strands on the edge. Correspondingly make a double crochet. At the foundation chain of the back piece, pick the insertion point for the double crochet. Crochet the corresponding mesh. As you move down and encounter the edges of each row, pick up the top of the beginning chain, and the double crochet stitch. Crochet the corresponding mesh. The specific insertion points can also be referenced from the chart. Finally, slip stitch into the beginning chain. Pull tight, cut the yarn. At this point, R1 is completed. Move on to crochet R2. Join the yarn on the wrong side of the previous round. Pick up the space where the slip stitch went through. Start with 3 chains as the beginning chain. Crochet the mesh from right to left for the following part. Finish the last double crochet. Slip stitch into the beginning chain below. Tighten. Do not change colors for the next round. There is no need to cut the yarn here. At this point, R2 is completed. Continue with R3. Start with 3 chains as the beginning chain. Turn over. Work this round on the right side. Pick up the 2 adjacent double crochets. Crochet a DC2 tog. Continue to work the mesh correspondingly afterward. You can slip stitch into the beginning chain at the end, or pick up the decrease stitch and slip stitch. Tighten. Cut the yarn. R3 is complete. Continue with the remaining rounds using the same method, crochet in rounds, going back and forth as needed. Some rounds require decreases. Refer to the chart for specifics. When you finish crocheting the last row of decreases, pay attention to check the number of meshes. It should match up with the chart. Everyone can finish the remaining part. That concludes the explanation for one sleeve body. The other sleeve body follows the same crochet method. Refer to the chart and complete it. Next, we will discuss the motifs. Here are 3 of the motif joins to the sleeve body. And starting from the second motif, it also needs to join to the previous motif. The last motif needs to join on 3 sides. One side joins to the adjacent motif, one side joins to the sleeve body, and one side joins to the first motif. The method of joining is the same for all. The chart marks all the joining positions. Please refer to the chart to complete the motifs. Next, we will crochet the cuff. Work back and forth in rounds along the motifs. The new stitches used here are half double crochet and Rev SC. Please watch me demonstrate. Here, I will use this sample swatch for demonstration. On the side of the sleeve body with the beginning chain, find the corner at the upper right of the corresponding motif. Pick up the space and join the yarn. Then make 2 chains as the beginning chain. Work 1 half double crochet in the same position. Yarn over. Insert. Draw through. There should be 3 loops on your hook now. Yarn over and draw through all the loops in once. This completes the half double crochet. Continue. Pick up the spaces of the motif separately. Work 2 half double crochets into each space. Pay attention to weaving in the yarn tail as you crochet. After completing the last space, find the second chain of the beginning chain. Pick up 2 strands of it and slip stitch. Pull tight. R1 is complete. Continue with R2. Start with 1 chain as your beginning chain. Turn over. Pick up stitches on the left side, and work single crochets evenly into each stitch. When you reach the beginning chain, crochet a single crochet in the space where the slip stitch was inserted previously. Finally, at the first single crochet on the left side, insert into its stitch. And work 1 slip stitch. Pull tight. R2 is complete. Move on to R3. Start with 1 chain as your beginning chain. Turn over. Pick up the stitch on the right side. Crochet a Rev SC. Insert. Yarn over and draw through. There will be 2 loops on your hook. Yarn over again, and pull through both loops. The Rev SC is complete. This technique is identical to a regular single crochet, except the direction of inserting the hook is reversed. Continue picking up stitches as you move. Work the Rev SC into each corresponding stitch. Finish crocheting the last stitch. Move downwards, slip stitch by picking up any two strands at the starting position on the wrong side. Pull tight. Cut the yarn. Hide the yarn tail on the wrong side. This completes the cuff crocheting. That concludes the entire process of making the sleeve. Next, we will crochet the edging. Start by crocheting in rounds along the front band, and hem for 1 round. Later, pick up stitches only from the hem and work a few rows. Then, crochet a few rows along the hem side seam, and the front band. Finally, crochet 1 round along the front band and hem. For convenience in explaining, I have divided the process into several sections step by step. The new stitches used include FPDC and BPDC. Please watch as I demonstrate. First, work section 1. This is the initial round, where you start crocheting in rounds. Here, join the yarn to 1 stitch at the lower left corner of the front band, at the edge of the hem. The method is the same for both long and short versions. I'll demonstrate using this sample swatch. When the edge has a double crochet, insert into the stitch. When the edge is a beginning chain, pick up 2 strands on the 3rd stitch. Then, make 2 chains as the beginning chain. In the same position, work 1/2 double crochet. For the hem side seam, the motifs and the front piece, you'll pick up stitches into the edge spaces. From here to the straighter part of the front piece, work 2 half double crochets into each space. The stitch count changes for the extended part. Refer to the chart for specifics. After completing a portion here, check if the piece lays flat. If it's not flat, adjust by increasing or decreasing stitches as needed. For the back piece, also pick up stitches into the edge spaces. Crochet the corresponding number of half double crochets. The other side of the front band is the same as before. When you reach the corner of the hem, work 2 half double crochets into 1 edge stitch. For the mesh section, pick up chain spaces and crochet 2 half double crochets into each. As you crochet each section, keep an eye on whether the piece lays flat, then adjust according to the actual situation as needed. Refer to the chart. Complete crocheting this round. Finally, on the beginning chain, pick up 2 strands of the 2nd chain and slip stitch. After completing, don't cut the yarn. That concludes the explanation for section 1. Continue by only picking up stitches along the hem. This means crocheting section 2. Here, I'll demonstrate using this sample swatch. Continue with the previous yarn tail. Start with 3 chains as the beginning chain. Turn over. Pick up stitches, and work a double crochet into each stitch in sequence. Crochet continuously until reaching the left stitch of the 2 stitches at the corner. Crochet into the corresponding stitch. Leave the remaining stitches unworked. At this point, H1 is completed. Continue to crochet H2. Start with 3 chains as the beginning chain. Turn over. Pick up the second double crochet from the left. Work a FPDC. Yarn over. Insert into the right side of the corresponding double crochet. Come out on the left side. Pull up the corresponding double crochet in front. Then yarn over and draw the yarn through. Continue crocheting according to the technique for double crochet. Pay attention to the height of the completed stitch. It should match the height of the beginning chain. At this point, you have completed one FPDC. Continue with the adjacent stitch and work one more FPDC. The height of the completed stitch should be similar to the previous one. Next, crochet a BPDC. Yarn over. Insert into the right side of the adjacent double crochet from behind. Exit on the left side. Pull up the corresponding double crochet in back. Then yarn over and draw the yarn through. Continue crocheting according to the technique for double crochet. You have now completed the BPDC. The height of this stitch should also be about the same as the previous ones. I won't repeat this point moving forward. Continue with one more BPDC. From then on, crochet alternately with 2 FPBC and 2 BPDC. In the end, it doesn't matter if it's not exactly 2 FPDC or 2 BPDC either, just continue crocheting according to the pattern. When you encounter a beginning chain, pick up the third chain. Work 1 double crochet. At this point, H2 is now complete. Move on to crochet H3. Start with 2 chains as your beginning chain. Turn your work. Continue by picking up each stitch and working corresponding half double crochets. Begin here by inserting the second stitch from the left. The edge stitch should correspond with the beginning chain. Make sure not to crochet this part incorrectly. When you reach the beginning chain, work 1 half double crochet into its top. At this point, H3 is now complete. This also finishes section 2. You need to fasten off the yarn. Next, crochet the front band, which is section 3. Place the right side of section 1 facing you, then locate H3 of section 2. Pick up the beginning chain, and join the yarn there. Chain 2 as the beginning chain. Pick up adjacent edge double crochet, and work 2 half double crochets. The next stitch, the beginning chain for the double crochet, work 2 half double crochets. Move downward to section 1. Start by picking up the beginning chain and work 1 half double crochet. Continue picking up stitches correspondingly. Work half double crochets into each stitch in sequence. Keep going until you reach the last row's edge of section 2. The crochet technique and stitch count on both sides of section 2 are identical. After completion, the crocheting methods for the remaining several rows are the same as those in section 2. Refer to the previous steps and the chart provided. Crochet the remaining rows accordingly. Do not cut the yarn after completion. This concludes the explanation of crocheting for section 3. Finally, move on to crochet section 4. This involves working one round along the two sections. Continue using the previous yarn tail. Start with one chain as the beginning chain, then crochet from right to left. Use Rev SC throughout. First, pick up the edge and work the corresponding number of Rev SC. For the hem and front band that follow, simply crochet evenly. The techniques for both sides of the front bands are symmetrical. After finishing the last stitch, on the wrong side, pick up any two strands at the starting point and slip stitch. Everyone, complete this part. That concludes the explanation of the edging. Up to this point, the entire process of making the cardigan has been fully explained. If you have any questions during the process, don't hesitate to reach us via our website. Susan's Family. Support your handwork experience. Enjoy the joy of life. Thank you all for watching. See you in the next episode.